to Punk Rap, etc. Yep. I'm just making sure I posted everything. So yeah, welcome back to Punk Rap, etc. We had a good week last week. I'll show you the final results of last week's sketchbook session. Jesus, if I could speak. This is MJ, by the way, as it always is. But you know, just had to reintroduce before I forget. And I am making sure that I am live right now, because I am always nervous about this. Can you see my face from here? No, you can't. Good. I do not want that. Okie dokie, we will find out, I guess, in a second if I am going live. Did I press stream? Yeah. I'm streaming. That's me. Okay, cool. I'm up on Facebook. Love to see it. So, anyway, welcome back to Punk Rap, etc. This is another sketchbook session. So last week we did Neil Diamond at Jones Beach. This was the final result. I didn't show you guys or Wednesday, because it was gonna like cut off, and I needed time to like sit and be able to like figure out the colors without it being like a nightmare mess on the table. So this is the final result. I really love it. I tried to do like a very American classic tattoo, American traditional tattoo kind of vibe, and I really love it a lot. So we're gonna move on today to my next Carrie Underwood concert. And I know you can see the thing from below here, so that just means we have to work around it, which means that I am going to paint the background first. At first I was like sitting here going, oh, I wonder what medium I'm going to use, and now I'm like, well, duh. I have to use paint because I don't have another choice. Because marker leaks onto the next page. I was gonna say sometimes, but I mean always. So do I want to sketch first, or do I want to run something first? I feel like you might not be able to see the sketch if I lay down paint. Okay, if I don't lay down paint. But I also feel like you might not be able to see it if I do lay down paint. What do you want to do? Let me just sketch some ideas first, because I know kind of what I want to do, but not entirely, so I kind of want to get that settled first, and then we'll start painting afterwards. So I'm just going to get my water. I'm using acrylic paint, because that's mostly what I have, and this is the most potent thing that'll cover any seep-through from the other side without also seeping through itself. Like, so for instance, when I first did my first page, I was like, oh crap, I did it in marker, and it fully came through the other side, as you can see here. And whereas like pen doesn't go through, like you can see like the ridges, but like whatever, right? Colored pencil and pen don't go through. Paint is great because acrylic paint is the thing that covers, if the other side is going to leak through, you can't see it because it's like super opaque, and it covers the whole thing. Watercolor, you can see through the other side. So like I try to tend to do materials mediums next to each other that are gonna like complement each other, so that you don't see anything from the other side, while still, you know, using the page. So like marker has to go on the back of like acrylic or something, whereas like, you know, something more like chill, like pen and then pencil, can go on the back of each other, two acrylic paints on top of each other, two watercolors on top of each other, an acrylic paint and an acrylic paint / color pencil, because acrylic paint just creates like a whole new layer on top that you like, it doesn't seep through. And then I knew that like marker was going to seep through, and the thing is, like, I don't really care about transfer to the other page, but I did put something down so that it wouldn't do that. It was more that I cared about, because the thing is, then that dictates the next one that I do after this one, I knew for a fact this would bleed through, and that's just like the way that it works. And that's something you have to account for if you're going to be doing your own sketchbook. So today we are going to be doing, basically what I was saying was this is like very premeditated. So I am going to look up a couple pictures just because I didn't have enough time to plan this as well as I wanted to, but Carrie Underwood, Blown Away Tour, 2012. Blown Away Tour. Such a good album. I was listening right before this. And Carrie Underwood was kind of, in my mind, like known for her like theatrics when she was on stage. Because she did some crazy stuff. Like, I mean, you can kind of see here, like the stuff that she was dressed in. Very wild. I think I actually posted an Instagram at some point about like this concert, but I don't think it's there anymore. I think I got rid of it. But she came out like at the beginning and she was like flying or something. Let me look it up because I want to be correct. Blown Away Carrie Underwood live. She had like a whole like, not a medley, I want it from like her tour. On the tour. Yes. I can't play the music because otherwise I'm going to get copywritten. But she came out. Hunter Hayes opened for her. Wow, this person really did record the whole ass concert. It says almost full show. Yeah, she had this fucking windmill and this background. So cool. And they had like graphics that showed like the tornado behind her. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing for this, is like her with this windmill and like a tornado behind her, because that's what Blown Away is about. It's like a double meaning between like abuse and like domestic abuse and a tornado wrecking a house. Yeah, she had this like big house behind her. Kind of don't want to draw a house, so I'm not going to. Yeah, where is the Blown Away performance? This is the Good Girl performance. Two Black Cadillacs, what a great song. I want Blown Away. Oh, it lists it. Wow, incredible. When does she play it? Probably the end, yes. Yeah, okay. The graphics were so incredible. Okay, so she wasn't flying, but I want her to be like the controller of like this hellscape behind her, basically. Yeah, the rain and stuff too. Oh my god. You can't see if you're listening, but the graphics are really neat. So what I'm thinking of doing is I want to get a picture of her on the tour in like the outfit that she kind of wore. Yeah. So like this. I want to put her like smack dab in the middle. So I want to do that like fucking windmill. Oops. I really have to like think ahead of time to like put something below this. And it never dawns on me to do so until I'm like already drawing. Oops, you know? Oh my god, I just found something that I drew hella long ago. That's so funny. Just gonna rip out shit of this book because I want to get on the next page. That's something that's happened a couple times. Like in here, like with this one, a little bit of the Jonas Brothers color got on this. It's just something that happens. Okay. So that windmill in the background. So I want her to be pretty centered, which is like something that you kind of normally wouldn't do. But I want her to almost be like the Zeus of her own story. Like I want her to be like commanding the tornado almost, if that makes sense. So like her head here. I think the windmill probably higher then, because I don't want it to contrast with her, because it would be theoretically in the background, like it would be further away. So I think that's probably what we're going to go for instead. I probably should have put down paint before I started drawing, because I'm going to have to do it anyway, but maybe this one will be a little bit more like impressionistic and not as realistic. but we'll figure it out as we go along, which is the fun of it. So, so let's get started. So she's here, and I don't even want to be able to see her feet. Like, I want her to take up the whole thing. I want her to be very, like, jarring. So, like, as if she were, like, holding her hands up to, like, control the storm is kind of what I'm aiming for. And the only reason I want, like, a reference picture of her is just that I want to be able to, like, make sure that her likeness is on point. I'm not going to fully sketch here just because I can't see what's going on beneath because of the stuff that was here before. But, like, this is her torso and her neck. I want her to look like a goddess controlling the weather. That's literally exactly what I want. So right now I'm drawing in her, like, just her general features, like, as a body would have. So, like, I drew, like, her head and her neck, and then, like, a box for her chest, and then her hips start, you know, here. She's got her torso, and then her legs. We're going to draw the legs even though you're not going to be able to see them, because we want to know where they would be, like, realistically, so that if a dress were more skin tight, you'd be able to see where the dress should cling to. That's, like, a pro tip. So, like, this is obviously, like, a flowy / like a windswept dress, so that's not too big of a deal, but it's just kind of something to keep in mind. And I know you can't see a ton because, you know, there's stuff underneath it, and neither can I, so we're in the same boat. So, and I'm gonna have to draw her hands, and I know that they're gonna get cut off, and I know people are gonna come for me, because when you're an artist, like, cutting off the hands is, like, kind of something you try not to do, because you shouldn't. You should draw the hands if you have the opportunity to do so, but I don't wanna. Do I have the twister go behind? Yeah, I think I'm gonna have it come behind her and start, like, somewhere over here, and then I want the horizon line, like, kind of here, and then I want, like, that windmill here. I don't even know what windmills look like. I don't know what people did back in the day when they needed to see what something would look like. No, I want, like, not this one. No. Yeah. I'm talking about, like, a farm windmill. Yes, like that. But not with, like, those curly parts. I just want them to be straight like hers was. I don't know what people did back in the day where they were like, I want to draw a tiger, and, like, didn't have access to the internet. I don't know what I would do. I guess you just assume. Maybe that's why Renaissance paintings look so fucked up. Be like, you know what a horse looks like, bruh? And he's like, yeah. I got you, fam. Fam was not gotten. So that's the windmill. And I could do the little house. Do I wanna? Maybe, kind of. Not super great at drawing houses, but it's a good ambiance. Whenever I sketch, I feel like my shit always looks like a 4th grader drew it. And not wrong. That's good for what I want. And then, sorry, I'm trying to turn my notifications off so I don't get them while you guys are watching. I always get, like, texts and I'm like, oh, can't put this on the internet. Okay, let me get that picture of Carrie Underwood back. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna draw this kind of more fleshed out, like where her actual arms would be. And I know that you can't super see it, and neither can I, but It'll be good, I swear. Shoulders, who needs them? Not me. So I never draw them. Hands, ugh. What the hell is her hand gonna look like? So this is where, as an artist, you have to do it with your own hands. Because, like, I want her to be, you can't see what I'm doing, but, like, I want her to, like, be, like, you know, a picture like a fortune teller on a crystal ball with, like, the hands, like, kind of like this, like, claw-y, but then, like, move your arms out. So I want her to be, like, controlling the wind, but drawing a hand like this is quite the challenge. So we're going to take a picture of it, and I have to remind myself what hand that would be. So then I put my own hands out and think about where my thumb would be if I put my hands up. My thumbs are on the inside, so this hand is for this side of her body. You don't even know how many times you draw the wrong thumb on something until you realize that you were wrong. Unless you do it, or like, and then you're looking at it and you're like, why does this look so fucked up? Because the thumb's on the wrong side. But again, sometimes you don't notice it until until it's already done. There was one time I was in school. I went to art school, and there was this one girl, and she's so good at what she does. For the other side, I'm literally just going to take the same picture, and I'm going to flip it in my phone, so that I don't have to take another one. So she was like, how do I? No, just flip it. There we go. So there's this one girl, she's so good at what she does, and still so good at what she does, and she just, like, the one time, she just, like, completely put the thumb, like, on the wrong side, but like, for one hand. So, like, everything else was fine, like, the other hand was fine, but this thumb was on the wrong side, and our teacher had to be like, that thumb is not where it should be. And all of us were like, what do you mean? Like, not even thinking about it. Alright, I went two balls to the wall here, hold on. So, if you have your wrist here, wrist joint, and then coming up your palm, and then your fingers. So this is like the meaty part of, like, your thumb. And it comes off your wrist, and this one's gonna bend inward a little bit because she's, like, grasping. And then hands are so hard to do. I know people who can just, like, draw hands just, like, without having to, like, think about it, and I envy the crap out of those people. I'm sure, like, if you do it enough. But I'm not there yet. Let's not give her a wrist, I said. So, cool, that's good. And then let me go back to the picture of her. And she's got on this, like, suit thing. So if the tornadoes come in this way, my mind says that, like, her dress would be whipping, like, this way. And she's got, like, these cape things that are flying off her as well. So we're gonna put one of those in front of her. I don't know what kind of, like, body piece this is, but we're not gonna draw it just like it is, so I don't feel like it. Okay, and then she has this, like, piece that goes here, that's black, and then her dress starts. So at this point we don't need her legs. Something good to note about when you do sketchbook pages too is seeing which things do poke through on the other side. So like if you look at this, all of the black, all the micron pen does not come through the other side. So if I like wanted to line this and then paint over it, I could do that. Do I know that I'm going to? Probably not. I'm being truthful, but I will have her leg here actually, because I do want it to look like she has like a bunch of half like long back. We used to call that something and I can't for the life of me remember what it is, but it was like half up, half down, like long back but short front. What the hell is that called? That used to be like the dress style for the longest time, and it didn't flatter me, but I know a lot of people who did like it. So that's like, she had a bunch of those and what she wore during the concert, so thought about including that here kind of, but we don't need her leg here. So this concert was cool. Hunter Hayes was a lot better than we had ever expected him to be, because we didn't even know he was going to be there. That's the truth of it. I didn't really understand that like there were openers like when I was a kid. Like most people had openers, but I was like, oh, this is a special circumstance. I don't know. And the thing is, I'm not like a stupid person, but like certain things I thought when I was a kid, like I thought them. I don't know why. Let me get a better picture of Carrie Underwood's face. I'm gonna save this, and then I'm gonna search up Carrie Underwood, because I do want to get her face a little closer, because I can't really see facial features. That's a good picture, because I want to get it right. The other one like didn't super look like Carrie Underwood, but I'm not like, it's all interpretation. But I do want to make her look like powerful and in command of her shit, which she is. But the show was a lot of fun, because I would have been 15. Jesus, we jumped. We jumped from, well, no, I was 15 here, but I don't know why, but I felt very young. No, I'm not doing math correctly. Yeah, I would have been 14 when I went to this. Okay, yeah. But I want her to look like a little evil, so we're gonna like squint her eyes. I might not even give her pupils, fuck it. I say as I literally give her irises. Not pupils, I meant irises. But I'm gonna make her like kind of devilishly smile. You know. I might outline her face just so I don't forget where it is. Kind of wanted to have her like yelling, but also like, what does your face look like? The amount of like things I've done with my own face just to like see what my face looks like when I'm angry or whatever is like so funny. That is not the right nose line for her. I think that nose is just a little bit too big for her face. But drawing this small is funny too, because it's hard to kind of get right. But I don't know that I super love her eyes in this, and her eyebrows don't look like that, but her eyebrows are a little bit. I literally have to look at myself in the camera and see what your face looks like when you're angry. Yeah, brows down. now that we have our reference picture. Erase her eyebrows. Yeah, you want to squint the eyes more. And lower the brows. Yeah. That's why references help so much. Oh my god. Automatically, I'm like, yep, that makes so much more sense. Yep, that's exactly what I wanted. Okay, awesome. So, still don't think it like 100% looks like her, but what did I do last time? Oh, this was paint. Let's draw the hair. It's the nose that keeps killing me. But her eyes are like a little bit too far apart. Where's a picture of her from the internet? Excuse me. Maybe it's her face shape. Yeah. It's a little bit... She's a good jawline. Oh dear, that was too much. Her eyes are a little bit too wide, I think, for what I want, or what she looks like. But, you know, I'm gonna draw her some hair. But right now, I'm just gonna leave that how it is. Well, she had like hella earrings in too. I don't know what the fuck that is. Can't see it all. We're just gonna give her some oops. Her hair was hella curly. I loved her hair. Alright, so her hair goes everywhere. We know that. Couple strands in the front. Couple that go, you know, awry. Okay, that's a good sketch. Already half an hour in. I'm gonna take a picture of it so I can reference it later. And I think we're gonna go into her face is bothering me. I feel like I'm looking at it and trying to, maybe it's the nose, but the eyes too. I don't know. This is the struggle of being an artiste. That like line is too harsh. And then her mouth is almost a little bit too low. It's hard when someone's not like incredibly recognizable. And she is, but like also she's just like another really gorgeous looking blonde woman. I don't know, there are, you know, a lot of them. She doesn't have any necessarily like super distinct features. And I give people who are, you know, incredible at doing this, like likenesses, a lot of credit. It's hard. That's why I mostly just draw people who don't exist. I want her to be smirking more. That didn't do what I wanted it to. It doesn't really... Yeah. I don't know. When we paint, it's going to be different. So I'm just going to leave that for now. And we're going to get to painting. So, did I bring a palette again? No. Would I come to this prepared? Absolutely not. Who do you think I am? Okay. So, I'm going to grab paint. I'm going to stick to the very monochrome palette. It's actually raining today, so I guess that helps with the moodiness of this. Don't fall, I want you. Okay. Silver, black. Should we do some black and white? Maybe that'd be fun. I know that little house back there is like yellow, but maybe it would be fun to just do black and white. Me convincing myself, yeah, no, it'd be fun. So we went, my mom and I. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need a palette, and I never think about this beforehand. Good. Alright. Excuse me, that's me being tired. I just emptied my trash too. Normally I try to pull something out of the trash. Just gonna use paper. Okay, an index card. So just gonna lay some colors down. What do I do with this? Yeah, I think we're just gonna make this black and white. Are you kidding me? For those listening at home, I got paint on my hand. I just did my manicure too, and I'm gonna fuck it up while doing this. Always get paint on my nails, and then acrylic paint really just loves to stick around for no reason. Okay. Let's get some brushes. I think my dad got us tickets to this one, and my mom and I were like, nice, like, oh, my dad will get us concert tickets, and we were like, okay, awesome, but like, I don't think we even like thought like that, you know, we would have even have like thought about going if they hadn't been like purchased for us or like brought up to us. So I just don't think concerts were like huge. We knew about them, but I don't think that like they were such a huge thing people went to all the time. I think I might make it wholly monochrome except for the house and her hair and her face. And everything. I'm looking for paintbrushes to do what I want it to do. A little made fan brush in here. Taking out a couple just so that I have a wide variety. Off the bat, my entire paintbrush collection is dispersed between paintbrushes I bought and paintbrushes that I happened to come into possession of. Take that as you may. But we had a good time. It was a good time. I remember just being, you know, astounded by the theatrics of her concerts every time. I think this one was the one where she just like rode up on a fucking what the hell is that thing called? Like a pickup truck? In the middle of the stadium. I was like, oh, what? Girl, you wild. She is. I was like, I'm scared for you. I think she was singing like Amazing Grace. I'm gonna start out with like a base level of just like gray kind of everywhere to like cover everything, except for her body. I'm gonna go back and paint that individually, but with something like this, because we do want to cover what's underneath it, starting with like a base layer is always a great idea. I have to make sure that I don't get any paint on the layer below. There we go. And I'll go back. I'm gonna paint over the windmill and the house right now, because I want there to be a background. Yeah, it's gonna completely cover it. You can always like go back and paint over, but going back to like painted background underneath something is actually very frustrating. So kind of wanted her a little higher up on the page, but it's too late now. Nothing's ever too late, but I like these to be a little bit more sporadic than anything else. Yeah, it was a good time. She like sang a bunch of songs from her old record, and we, had only seen her like a year or something before. And she's just such a good showman. Like, she puts on such a good show. And it's, it's extensive. It's a lot of work to put on, like, such an incredible show. Specifically, like 2 years in a row, basically. I forget when the first concert was. Let me look back. No, I don't want to pick up the paper. I'll check in a little bit. Oh, I went over the house. Alright, well, we're here now. So I want the sky to be like a mid-tone gray so that I can go over that. This is actually going to be the texture of the sky. Like, I'm going to leave the texture how it is, where it's like a little bit more streaked. And then I'm going to go back in and add like clouds into it and stuff. Going a little bit over her body, like her hair. But I'm not going to go over, I already drew out like her hands and stuff. So I'm not going to go over that, but hair can be, I didn't even plot it out like perfectly, off the bat. So I'm not going to worry about that. But the hands I do care about. My drawing. I'm wearing a tank top, and it is not like hot, but like enough. Like my computer's getting hot, so that means that the air around me is very warm. Your computer make that like flux, feels like it's gonna take off kind of noise. My computer does that every time that I do these shows. I'm like, bro, chill. You're fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, there's another guy who performed at that show as well, who opened, and I couldn't tell you that person's name for the life of me. I know I wrote it down, but Hunter Hayes really stole the show. He's very good. And I did know some of his stuff because he was kind of up and coming at that point. I don't know where he is now. That's no shade, I just truly don't, because I don't really keep up with people if I don't, like, specifically try to. And I liked a bunch of his songs. Like, there were really just a couple that were stellar, and I just entirely forgot to keep track of him, especially when, like, I didn't have, like, an iPod and stuff, or, like, I probably did at this point, but, like, not, like, Spotify, where there's just such easy access to everything. I'm painting, like, the foreground / like, what would be, like, the earth more dark, so I want her dress to stand out in front of it. So I know her hair is going to be very light, and I know that her dress is going to be a little bit darker, so I can afford to, like, mix up the shades. But yeah, she sang. She was Blown Away came out. Let me check myself before I wreck myself. Carrie Underwood. The album that we went to the show for before that was Play On, and that was 2009, and Blow Away came out in 2012. And I was kind of like, not over her at this point, but just like kind of forgot about her because I like went to high school and had like different interests in music. So I wasn't like, not to say I wasn't super stoked about it, I just like was like, oh nice, like I'm so excited to go, but like I wouldn't have thought to like buy tickets to her again. But she, no pun intended, she blew me away, so I can't, say much. She's always been a good showman, and that's why like she won American Idol and stuff too. She's just very good at what she does. Great stage presence. Her voice sounds exactly like it does on the record in person, from what I remember. And she like interacted with the crowd and stuff, and I would highly suggest, if you can ever like, go out and see Carrie Underwood perform live to do it, because she really is something special. And she's, just a generally wonderful person, I've been told by the media. I know she's vegan. And she married a hockey player at one point. I don't know if they're still together or not. One of the best feelings in the world is like slapping a lot of paint on something and just like having it glide up across the paper. Love to see it. I think that's also supposed to be painted over here. If it's not, we'll go back later. That's what's fun about acrylic paint too, is that you can kind of layer it. So you can go and fill things in later. Like with the Nickelback one, I went back and forth a lot between negative and positive space, so like the stuff I was working with and the stuff I wasn't. This is all dress. This isn't dress. And see, this isn't going through the other side. It's actually going to be good because it'll make it more opaque, so that you can, so that you can see the other side better, actually. Ironically enough, helps it out. Can you even see what I'm doing? No. I'm just painting in black. Not too huge of a deal. Oops. Gotta make sure I don't get it on the other pages. Ugh, always hard. Boop, 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 boop. I would have been... This is 2012. November in 2012. I think this is the year people thought that the world was ending. Yeah, it definitely was. Or like the Mayan calendar. And right? No, for sure. Did I only go to a concert a whole year later? No, what date was this? I put my stuff over it. Let me look at the advertisement. Yeah. This was November, so I would have been a sophomore in high school. People really thought the world was ending. Literally, the like senior class that was in my high school at that time, they labeled their like senior year, the theme of like their senior year was like Mayans, like the Mayans can't stop us, or like something like that. Cheesy. But that was a funny time, and now we're here in a global pandemic. Haha. Oh, how the turns have tabled. Things have changed. I cannot see where my mouse is. Do 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 do. Yeah. No, I just want to listen to Carrie Underwood although she is very good. I was not happy about her being slated to win, or she, did win American Idol. Spoiler alert, from 2006. Oh, have I drawn Carrie Underwood? No, never mind. I didn't go to that American Idol live. But have I drawn her 3 times? No, I haven't. Yeah, I really loved Bo Bice. I think I talked about this last time. The guy who was like second runner-up to her. But she's gone like way further in her career than he has. No offense, Bo Bice, if you're listening, but it's true. And the thing is, that's not necessarily like a winner versus loser thing, because like Chris Daughtry went way further than almost anyone who was in his American Idol year, except for Catherine McPhee. So like Catherine McPhee won. I think she was second. I think she was runner-up. Taylor Hicks won. I haven't heard from him in years. And then I know Chris Daughtry was 4th. Couldn't tell you who came in 3rd. But now I'm curious. Me. American Idol. American Idol 2007? Mayhaps? No. Oops. 2006? Yeah. Who the hell came in 4th? I don't know. We're gonna find out. Top 12 finalists. Elliot Yamin? Is he still doing shit? I don't know that I've heard of him since then. I couldn't even tell you what he sounds like. Elliot Yamin. He's got like enough listeners. Oh, I remember his one song, Wait For You. It's like, darling, I will wait for you. I'm pretty sure. He just released an album in 2020. Okay. Couldn't have told you that. Interesting. Yeah, but, I mean, Chris Daughtry's pretty famous. Kelly Pickler, I don't remember going much further than that. Kelly Pickler. Good picture. The last album she released was in 2013. Okay. Sorry, Bib. Sad. But that wasn't Carrie Underwood's year. Who the hell was... This show is brought to you by me looking up past American Idol people. I think Carrie Underwood just did a really good job of turning her career into something that was more than just like American Idol. Yeah, season 4, top 12 finalists. Carrie Underwood was 1st, Bo Bice was 2nd. Von Zell Solomon? I've never heard of that person. Anthony, oh my god, I remember him. I'm just gonna look at the pictures. They had like these compilation albums of them singing covers. Yeah, I had this cover. And I didn't realize that these were like covers of songs until much later. I was always pissed why they didn't put them in order of who won, but oh well. I forget what Carrie Underwood sang on that album. Something about Independence Day. I think it was actually called Independence Day. Yeah, Independence Day. And I Don't Want to Be by Bo Bice. Yo, that was good. It was a good cover album, to be honest. I listened to the absolute crap out of that. And then I used to think to myself, because they write the, like, either, I think now they write each person like a song for their winner song that they sing like at the finale. But back in the day, with Carrie Underwood and Bo Bice, they wrote one song which is called Inside Your Heaven. And I remember being like, that must suck if you were like the real person whose song that was, because I still thought that was a cover. And I've never heard the original version. My mom was like, no, dude. They wrote that specifically for like Bo Bice and Carrie Underwood, and I was like, oh, that's neat that they like get a song off the bat. I think that part of American Idol is that you get like a recording contract or something. So that's cool. What a concept. It's funny to me that Chris Daughtry was on that show, because he's such like a rock guy that it's so funny that he like even pursued this as like his way of getting on the scene. I feel like he definitely could have just done it by like word of mouth, but this obviously like kickstarted his career. Every once in a while I'm like, he doesn't even do stuff anymore, and then I like will look and he will like album release like 2 days ago, and I'm like, what? I just need to keep up. The first Daughtry album though was fire. Straight fire, let me tell you. So now that that's painted, we have to wait for that to dry a little bit. I'm gonna start painting in her dress and stuff. I think that's the best next best step. Well, I kind of want to do, okay, so hear me out. I'm going to take a more puffy brush like this, but I would prefer it to be better, but I don't have better. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some white with like just a little bit of gray and go in and make like storm clouds, because this should be more dry at this point in time. And I do want them to be just a touch not white, because I do want them to look like stormy. So I'm probably going to lay down my white first and then go back in with some darker to make them look like storm clouds. They should probably just be more black than anything, but I don't want them to be, I don't want them to blend in with, I don't want them to blend in with the tornado eventually. Yeah, this is like a very Bob Ross-ass move. I learned this when I was a kid though. My mom used to take like a painting class. It doesn't look as natural as I'd like it to. I want a different brush. And you have so many brushes to choose from. Actually, I think I have one that I'm thinking about in the box. So I have some brushes from like childhood, and then I have brushes from like art school. I don't know if I still have the one that I'm actually thinking about. It was made to do like more stipply motion. I don't know that I do. Damn, that sucks. But this one's bigger. A little bit harder, so I think I might use that because it's easier if the brush tips are more stiff to do stuff like this. It's a little too separated out, but yeah, it's happening. It's going. I like the cloud up there. I don't know how I feel about this one. But you'll also not be able to see all of it because there will be a tornado on top of it. I don't like this brush even more than I didn't like the last one. Let me go back to that one. Because I haven't learned from my mistakes clearly. Okay, but now it's wet. We've made mistakes. So I used to paint originally. Now I gotta go back and choose a different one. It's okay. We all make mistakes. Yeah, there's like one brush specifically made to do like this stippling motion. I don't know that I own it anymore. Just sad. But fine. Oh well. That's kind of all I have to say about Carrie Underwood. I think I might just dip and finish painting. Whoop. Because the painting part is not so interesting on the audio portion. Because you can't see anything. And you're like, yeah, I know. I should upload these at some point. I'm very proud of the ones that I've done so far. They look good. I know that we're going overboard with the clouds, but that's just because, you know, clouds be doing that. Okay, I'm sorry. You know, when it's stormy up above, like you have a bunch of them in the sky that kind of look very, you know, ominous. And above you. I'm not even going to bother to do this section because I know I'm going to put the tornado over it. Doo-doo-doo. And the reason that you have a specific brush to do the stippling for clouds and like bushes and stuff is because you're gonna wreck the shit out of it. Because it's gonna look like that. And for your context, it looks like thousands of people with their hands up in the air instead of a straight brush. So just so you know, for your painting endeavors, if you decide to paint, you want a brush that you don't give a shit about to do this with. I don't care about this one. I've had this for years and years and years. That's kind of all I have to say about Carrie Underwood. What's funny is I'm gonna have like a bunch of. So my brother was in a band when he was younger, and they played like a whole bunch of gigs, and I count them because they're concerts. So there's like 10 of them that they played over the past like over 5 years worth of time. So that's going to be fun because I'm going to use that time to be like a little bit more experimental with my stuff. Because why the hell not? I'm just going to no, I don't want to use something that much. So that's going to be coming up. The next one after this is for my brother's now deceased band. And I think that's going to be some fun to do. Because I don't remember like all of them specifically. I remember like going to a bunch of the shows. But I get to draw my brother. It's gonna be fun. Putting in the tornado right now. Let me pull up a picture. Tornado. Those bitches are scary. They do have like sides to them. I'm not saying like the light side, the dark side. I'm saying like actually, well, yes, not emotionally, but physically. I want it to go here. So I kind of want it to just get darker as it goes down. So lighter up here. And I wanted there to be like an opening up here, I guess. But do I? I'm just gonna make a circle here, tie it off the top. I can add like shading and stuff as I go along. You know. Need some gray over here. It's gonna be behind her head, so I'm gonna paint her hair over it. I can't imagine like living somewhere where you know that like tornadoes could happen. Like we have like floods and hurricanes, which are also bad, but like I think it's because it's so foreign to me. Like I've never had, you know, the nervousness of a tornado. We had like I think New York can get tornadoes. I just don't think we've ever been in actual serious danger of a tornado coming to our midst. Not that I'm aware of. Maybe I'm entirely wrong. I feel like there's been a couple times where we've had like warnings of stuff, but I don't think anything's ever touched down at like anywhere near where I live. Kind of just doing this motion. Oh, that actually looks really good. But I want it to be darker. Makes a good texture. Should get a little thicker up here. Do do do. A little darker over here. A little lighter over here. Make sure you highlight your tornado. Get the highlight glowing, baby. I'm sorry. I feel like any boomer who's listening to this. People, it's such a funny topic of conversation. I don't think I should get into that. But it is funny to me how people get offended by words. The whole like Karen thing started going around. People were like calling like any like white woman boomer Karen, and people were like, don't call me Karen. Okay, Karen. And people were coming up with arguments where they were like, I don't want to get controversial on this, but I'm just telling you what's happening. I'm not stating my opinion. People were saying like, you've called, people of other races like different names, for different things. Like you can handle being called Karen. People would call people like Lakeisha and stuff like that, like without actually knowing their name. So okay, Karen. It's also hilarious. I just like that that's the name that was picked. Could have been anything else. I don't super love how that looks. But kind of wanted it to get a lot skinnier at the tail end. Painting the inside. Black hole of the tornado. I think it should be bigger at the top. I think that's what needs to happen. Doo-doo. Sorry, I just make random noises when I can't. When I can't think of anything to say. That's cool. It's right here that's bothering me. She's gonna have, she's gonna get in the way of this, but I wish I had just painted it all together. But oh well. And tornadoes aren't as dark as I thought that they were. Well, like, I'm sure that in person they are, but like on the internet they were like kind of white looking from the outside. So that's what we're adding in here. And I'm also gonna add like later like little like wind whips and stuff, kind of like I'm doing now. Have I cleaned this brush once since I started using it? No. Okay. That looks fun. Looks like a twister. And she still looks whack because I haven't done her face yet. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need a little bit more precision to do her face, so I think I'm gonna tune out. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for having me talk about Carrie Underwood. Next week I'm gonna talk about how my brother was in a band for like a hot minute as a drummer, which is super cool, I think. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will show you the finished product next week.